How'd you get into the barefoot stuff? Because I can see you're kicking it with those Vivos over there.
Yeah, so barefoot was an interesting one. I wore Vivos for a year. How did I get into Vivo? I think there was one time I saw the shoes and thought they were really interesting because I have flat feet. And I was like, oh, I'd really like to try these shoes. So they sent me the shoes and I was like, this is interesting. I mean, the first 2 weeks, you had to get used to it.
Yeah.
How was it for you? Like, what do you remember?
The first few days, like my feet were in pain. They were not used to touching solid ground and just walking around. So not like, I can't describe what the sensation feels like. It's just uncomfortable. That's what it is. And I remember trying to do some CrossFit stuff, like jumping, skipping, like jump rope, skipping, box jumps. My feet were they were on fire. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I don't think I can do this. This doesn't feel right. So rather than stop, I said, okay, I'm going to just go between both of them. And then I started to realize that it was funny. After a few months, I said to myself, hold on, you don't even notice most of these things anymore. And I stopped wearing my other gym shoes. I started wearing the Vivos more. I didn't realize that I was doing that consciously. I just was every time going to pick my training shoes, which I had loads of, I would just take the Vivos. Yeah. And that was it. And then I just remembered thinking, wow, this made such a huge difference because when I put on my other shoes on, I just felt unsteady, unstable, and I would always just go back to wearing the Vivos. So when I did Vivo had this thing, it's called Vivo Health, and they analyze your feet and how you walk and how you run. Cool. Yeah. And he said, bring your running shoes. And then I put my normal running shoes and I was running and he could see that I wasn't having contact with the floor when I was running. Right here? Yeah. So that was like a 3D print of my feet. As you can see, I was extremely flat-footed. Yeah.
And you mentioned one of your feet is bigger than the other.
Yeah. So I think is it the left one or the right? The left one is extremely flat and slightly bigger than the right one. So this was also an eye-opener because I always felt that my left, whenever I had shoes on, the left one felt tight. And when we did that, now it made sense. Yeah. And he almost said it's a shame that shoes don't come in optional sizes like that or half sizes. And it was after that we did, because I started running then, and then we did all the analysis and I learned about foot health and how you can actually train your feet. Didn't know that. Yeah. You do exercises for your feet. Again, didn't know that. And I've gone back since and it's made a big improvement. And
do you have to order 2 pairs of shoes so you can get like a 12.5 on one shoe? And
see, unfortunately,
13 on the other.
No. So 13 is too big, so you need like a half. But
I see.
Once you get to a 12, most people don't. The half sizes stop. It's so weird, right? Yeah. You get 8.5, 9.5, 10.5, 11.5. But once you get 12, they just
in the US, you can get 12.5. Do they not do that in the UK?
In the US, no. In the UK, it's very hard. It's even already hard to find 12s anyway. So most sizes stop at 11, especially European sizes. They stop at 11.
Pause. Yeah. But there are so many. Like you're a 12. Yeah. You're a 12 to 13. Yeah. I'm a 13, 12.5 to 13. Yeah. But our feet size aren't uncommon.
No, but then also it's different sizes, right? It's like a 48 or something, right? Like it's not like 12.
I think maybe like 47 in Europe, 47.
I wear 46 in Vivos, so that's a 12.5. That would be about a 12.5 in the Vivos.
Yeah, I wear a 12, so 46. Yeah.
But you ever tried a Vibram shoe, the 5-finger one?
I used to wear Vibrams before, but that was years ago. And people used to take the piss out of me.
All the time.
They used to take the piss.
What's he showing right here? Is that
that's a pressure plate. So you can see obviously the green, and that shows how much pressure I have with contact with the floor.
When you're just standing.
Just standing. Yeah.
Yeah, so much on that left side, huh?
Yeah. And then you can, so the main thing he said because we're so used to having shoes that the toes go up. If you notice, you can't see my toes.
Oh, yeah.
I stand with toes up because all the shoes we have toes up, which we then get used to standing back rather than, so you technically should be able to see all your toes on that pressure plate.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm so used to doing that. And also the pressure point is, it should be almost centered, but you can see where the pressure is on either side. And yes, the left is the right one. It just looks like I'm not even.
Maybe like you made your left foot bigger by putting more pressure on all the time.
Yeah. So that's also, and actually I find myself correcting myself. It's the subtle thing. So he said a lot of us stand where we are comfortable.
Right.
So a lot of us do this.
Yeah.
Or we stand like this. And he says that's why there's more pressure on one side. So he says if you, just small things is changing that. So I always find myself sometimes, if I'm cooking, I'm like, change your stance, just standing like that. You know, so it's just those small changes I didn't even think about until kind of we went through all of this. And then when we did the second time round, almost a year after, like you could see there was a difference, especially the way I run. And especially with the pressure on the pressure plate and how I stand. But it's just learning all that was so alien to me because I didn't think there was a lot of, especially there's a lot of science and information you can learn about your feet. And just the simple things as the way you stand can affect, the way you walk can affect everything else. You know, so I had to change a lot of ways. So now 90% of the time I train in barefoot shoes.
Power Project family, your normal shoes are making you weak. This is why I partner with Vivo Barefoot Shoes, because they have a wide toe box, they're flat, and they're flexible. So with every single step you're taking, if you're taking a 10-minute walk outside or when you're working out in the gym, your feet are able to do what they're supposed to do in this shoe. They have tons of options for hiking, running, training in the gym, chilling and relaxing, casual shoes for if you're out on a date. You need to check them out. And Andrew, how can they get it?
Yes, that's over at vivobarefoot.com/powerproject, and you guys will receive 15% off your order automatically. Again, vivobarefoot.com/powerproject. Links to them down in the description as well as the podcast show notes.
And when I go for walks, you know, like I said to you, I walk a lot now. I walk in barefoot shoes. I didn't used to like going for walks back in the day. So
really,
yeah.
Was that like a change in habits?
Yeah.
Or yeah,
it was. I think, you know, ever since I changed the way I train, but I also think that I always say to people, I'm the laziest fit person you would ever meet. Like I am super lazy, so I had to force myself to be more active when I'm not just in the gym. Yeah, if that made sense.
I know what you mean.
So I have, as you can see, those are the big like, toes, the leg exercises. So it's controlling your toes, which I didn't think that you could do. But I mean, it's a little bit interesting when you watch him do it and he does it really well. And then it's like, yeah, you should be able to like individually move them and stuff like that. So yeah, I learned a lot from that day.
What was,
did you have? Oh, good.
I was just asked, like, it's like performance wise though, or maybe not even performance wise, but what was something that you noticed like after wearing the Vivo shoes for a while that you noticed like, oh shit, I didn't even know this could come from having stronger feet?
It's more to, especially when it came to the explosive. So I was learning some S&C training with one of my rugby coach. So we were doing it for fun.
Yeah.
And then beforehand, I was doing it in cushioned shoes. And yeah. And I struggled with a lot of the movements because I'm not used to being explosive. And once I started Vivo, so I actually started doing them in Vivo shoes as well, a lot of the S&C stuff. And then after a while, I noticed I was moving better. I was just, like, you know, in terms of speed, reaction. And also when it came to squats and kettlebell training, I found that once I stopped using those, the cushioned shoes, I was moving better. And then the main thing for me was I used to have a lot of back pain and I used to butt wink a lot when I used to squat. Yeah. And I found that my mobility now is so much better. So it got to the point where I would say to people, okay, right, we're going to do a Kang squat or Cossack squats with barbell or you know, kettlebell. Let's go. For me, it's standard. It's easy. And then I get someone to do it. And they're like, oh, I can't do that. Like, how can you not do a Cossack squat? It's really easy. But because my mobility has improved so much, for me, a basic movement like a Cossack squat, some people still struggle because they don't have that mobility and ankle mobility, because my ankle mobility was shocking when I started. And now, you know, when it comes to things like overhead squats and having some barbell cycling in the workouts and doing some snatches in the workouts, I can do that now where I couldn't do that before.
Yeah.
But for me, certain things I used to think, things like pistol squats. So, you know, I thought, you know, I learned to do it, but even just doing pistol squat to a box, I thought, you know, pretty standard.
Yeah.
Some people can't do that.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized how much improvements I have made since I changed, you know, especially my footwear, whereby now that movements that seem basic to me, it's very hard for individuals to actually execute. And people in great shape too struggle with them.
No, it's made a big difference in terms of like not just balance during things while I'm doing jujitsu, but like things like walking. When you were talking about kind of changing the way you stand, we've done a podcast in the past when we were talking about like how we walk differently in terms of the way we place our feet and the amount of weight we put on different parts on our foot when we walk. We run differently. A lot of things have changed after we started, not just like, obviously, you know, like right now we're smashing our feet with these things, but like as we've been able to increase the fitness and dexterity of our feet, it's seeped its way into other things that we do as far as like lifting, running, jujitsu, all of that type of stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. Hey guys, if you like this clip, go ahead and comment down below and let us know what you liked about it. All right. Share this with a friend. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And also, we are on Reddit and Discord. All that's down below. All our sponsors and everyone that supports us down below there too. So you can get whatever you like from us. All right. Peace.